What's up, guys, and welcome back to In the Pressbox. It's episode 38. In today's show, there's only one thing that we're doing. It's college football preview day. My name is Benjamin, and you guys are?
Aiden.
And I'm the one, the myth, the legend, Alex the Great.
All right, let's get started here. So college football is right around the corner with fans gearing up for the season, including us. In today's episode, we will break down and preview the 2023-24 college football season. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, to get us started here, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Everybody kind of has that one moment where they became a fan of college football or just a particular moment that they really love. But for you guys, what was that moment? What is your favorite college football moment to start us off? What is it? Let's start off with Aiden.
I would say my favorite college football moment was 2016 Tennessee Volunteers versus Georgia Bulldogs. And I think that on October 1st, 2016, Tennessee, Josh Dobbs to Juwan Jennings, Hail Mary, game winner. And that is the day that I started watching Tennessee, and that will be forever remembered in my head.
I actually have two. I have one that made me a Tennessee fan of VFL, as y'all may know. It was when you may not know the story, Benjamin May. Me and Aiden, we got in trouble, and that was our punishment. We had to go down and watch Tennessee game, and that's pretty much what happened. We watched that, and as everyone knows, Juwan Jennings, Hail Mary, that made me a fan. And then also my favorite moment just of all time in general is running through that tee. I know that's every Tennessee boy's dream is to run through that tee, and watching it every single year, the fireworks and the lights, it only gets better every year. And I just can't wait to I can't wait to see that every game. I'm just looking forward to it every year, every game, every week. I'm just looking forward to see it. By far the best tradition in Tennessee and in all college football.
Yeah, I got probably a couple of memories that definitely come close for me. I think one of them was going to a game for college football in terms of my memories, but one of them is going to a game. It was like 2015 or something, really random game. It was like Vanderbilt and Western Kentucky. And before y'all start hating, because I know the hate is going to come, I went with my grandfather, and we were just driving around in Nashville, and randomly they just had a couple extra tickets available. So we just went to the game, and we ended up winning the game. It was a lot of fun.
For the first time.
Vandy and Western Kentucky. And then probably my favorite college football memory was watching the Auburn Chris Davis, like 101-yard return against Alabama, because I'd never seen something like that before. And listen, I'm not the biggest Auburn fan in the world. I like Auburn. I'm not the biggest Auburn fan, but that was a pretty special moment just because that never really happened before, and it kind of dethroned Alabama there. So I don't know. That was a pretty cool moment. But maybe let's move on here for just a second. So before we begin,
can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yes.
Can we just clarify so the fans know who will we be rooting for this season, or multiple teams?
That's a great question. First, though, yeah. Let's clarify that. Actually, no. Let's clarify that after we do the realignment.
Okay.
Okay. So like I just said there, we got the realignment. So kind of before we begin the whole preview, things may look a little bit different this year, especially in the Big 12, and in future years in college football. What is your opinion on realignment and the changing landscape of college football? Let's start off with Alex this time.
I know we like to say how it affects. Well, I know we said this last week on the podcast, so you can check out more of my opinion on that episode. So I think it's going to be great for not great for Pac-12, but for the Big 10, Big 12, SEC. You're going to see teams moving, more money for the teams that are not getting paid by their respected conferences. And I know, oh my gosh, tradition's changing right now, but in the next 100 years, your great-grandkids, it's probably going to be the same. And it's just like your change right now is going to last a lifetime. It's not like they're going to change every single 2 years. That's my opinion.
I guess my personal opinion on the realignment is I think it comes with a lot of good and a lot of bad. Like, kind of like what Alex said, I mean, it'll affect some conferences really good. My issue with it is that, well, actually, first of all, a couple positive is we get to see some of those epic matchups that we'd always wish that, we could see on a regular basis. But for me, personally, I'm not a big fan of the realignment because for me, the NFL is really my favorite form of football. Now, I understand there's a lot of college football fans, so I love college football too. But for me, what made college football so special was the tradition that it held, unlike the NFL. Because, the tradition that college football holds is, in my opinion, some of the greatest in all of sports. Hands down. And the realignment kind of ruined some of that tradition. You won't get those late night Pac-12 games. You won't, get that Oklahoma State, Oklahoma rivalry in Bedlam. And I personally, for me, college football is on tradition. And when you bring these power conferences together, like the SEC or the Big Ten or the Big 12, and you kind of form these massive power conferences, it kind of just starts to rival the NFL. And it's like, why should I be watching this over the NFL if I don't have a particular team? Now, you guys have Tennessee, right? Yeah. I sort of have Vanderbilt. Listen, being a Vanderbilt fan is really tough, I got to say. But, I sort of have my teams, right, that I can bounce around through. I like Virginia. I like Nebraska. Auburn's pretty, okay. But unless I have a true team that I am a diehard of, why should I be watching this over the NFL? It passes time on a Saturday. It's fun, but there's no tradition anymore. It's just all about money. So my opinion, some good, but a lot of bad, in my personal opinion. Aiden, what do you think about it?
I think it's a lot of bad, Benjamin. I think I kind of agree with what you were saying with all the not like losing tradition when you move a lot of conferences and you don't get those rivals. And someone could argue that maybe if in the future they'll start being rivals, but I mean, what's the point? Because maybe a few years after that there could be another realignment. I mean, maybe not for a while, obviously, but I mean, it's just I feel like tradition means they're staying there for a while. They built these rivals and they stay there. And the realignment basically kind of removes all of that. And I feel like college football is still going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be better than NFL in my opinion. But I think the realignment, like you said, Benjamin, is not really good for traditions. And overall, for me, it's negative.
Yeah, because like for me, there's just some things that set college football apart compared to the NFL. The student section, the marching bands, those are still be there. But when you get these power, matchups, it kind of makes me wonder, well, will the game be held at a neutral site now? Will we start to see more games in NFL stadiums? To me, and also the TV deals. Like, I'm sorry, I know it's a little bit nerdy, but like the SEC on CBS, I mean, I can't take the SEC on Pac-12. It just doesn't work for me. Like, for me, I like my, I kind of like, like what we know here. So, the SEC not being on CBS anymore is really gonna suck, and that's after this year, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that, but like, for me, the Big Ten on CBS is just not it, or the SEC on Fox. Like, it's just it loses its tradition and the thing that makes college football stand apart and so unique compared to the NFL. Then it just starts to become, a mini NFL to me personally. It's just like a minor league. It's like a AAA at this point. That's way more exciting, of course, than the AAA. And if you've got your team, of course, I mean, you'll always root for the Vols probably over any sports team. But, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Can we just stop talking about TV deals and just talk about how good Tennessee is going to be this year? Because it doesn't matter if I'm watching on ESPN or if I'm watching on Fox or if I'm watching on a legal website. I'm watching the Vols win.
Well, that's some passion right there. I mean, I don't really know, but I don't know. Just for me, the TV deals matter. The tradition's not being there as much anymore. It's going to suck. But I will say one thing that we do get back That Utah
We don't
and
get a
BYU
tradition.
rivalry. I gotta say that Utah and BYU rivalry is coming back. I mean, I'm a little bit excited for that. Like, that's an underrated rivalry right there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a good rivalry, and I know we were talking about traditions. I know one tradition's never gonna leave me or Benjamin is the annual last game of the year for Tennessee, and Benjamin knows what it is. He should know what it is. That's the Vanderbilt game. It's an annual butt whooping. We may be 0-11 going to that game, but we know we're winning that game.
It's just so painful. So painful. Every single year. Yes, I have Tennessee beating Vandy this year. How about this? Speaking of this, let's jump in to college football previews by the conference now. So each of us have been assigned a conference. Aiden has been assigned Big 10 and Big 12. Alex will have the ACC and the Pac-12. And I will have the American Conference preview along with the SEC to close us out.
Also, we have independents. Aiden has UConn. I had Notre Dame, and Benjamin has UMass.
And UMass and Army as well. So let's get into it here. Aiden, so each of us, I don't know if we set ours up the same, how we're going to preview these conferences, but we're going to first preview the Big 10 and the Big 12. So to get the college football official preview started off, let's kick us off here with Aiden Lee. Let's get it, Aiden. Big 10 preview.
All right, let me give you the, what's it called? The Big 10 preview. So, guys, the Big 10 is probably the second best conference for those who don't know. And let me just play something really quick. As you can know, Big 10 is coming to CBS, and they stole the SEC on CBS theme, which I don't like, as we were just talking about. But anyway, time for our Big 10 preview. So, for the teams that are in the Big 10, in the East, we have Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland, Michigan State, Indiana, Rutgers. And in the West Division, we have Purdue, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Northwestern. And I said it in the order of the rankings. All right, so here's how I'm going to preview each of my conferences. I'm going to say each team's record and where they placed in their division in inside the conference, because the Big Ten is divided into an East and West. And then I will give a brief rundown basically on players they've lost, their head coaches, and then I'll ask a couple of questions and I'll give a couple of hot takes, and I'll just basically just do all of that. So let's start off with the Big Ten East. I'm going to go down from the bottom to the top. So the Rutgers finished last from 1-8. Then Indiana with 2-7. Oh, actually, never mind. This is conference play. Overall, Rutgers went 4-8. Indiana, they went 4-8. Michigan State, they went 5-7. Maryland, they went 8-5. Penn State, they went 11-2. Ohio State, they went 11-2. And Michigan, they went undefeated until they lost in the semifinals, I'm pretty sure. And then in the West Division, last place is Northwestern. Northwestern finished the season off with a record. Okay, hold on. Finished off with a record of 1-11, the worst in the Big Ten. And then Nebraska with 4-8. Then Wisconsin with 7-6. Then Minnesota with 9-4. And then Iowa with 8-5. Illinois with 8-5. And then Purdue topping off the West with 8-6. So for college fans that don't know, right now, the East is a lot better than the West. And now, time for the brief rundown. Excuse me. So Ohio State, they're led by their head coach Ryan Day, and A couple key players that they lost in the draft is C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith. How do you say his last name, Alex? Najigba. And
And Jigba.
Luke Walper, Dawan Jones, Paris Johnson Jr., and Zach Harrison. So those are key players. Now, my first question of the day for this conference: how do you think Ohio State will be without C.J. Stroud this year?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking both.
Oh, I like this. We're bringing like an inclusive preview. How will Ohio State be with C.J. Stroud this year? I think my answer to that is they will be Ohio State as usual. They will be very good, but I see Michigan beating them again and heading to the conference championship personally.
I think they're going to be good. Ohio State always finds a way to be good. Are they going to be as good as last year? No, they're not going to be as good as last year, but they will find a way. They're going to do Ohio State things, and they will be good. And just so you know, real quick, I'd like to say RIP to Alex Collins, Arkansas Razorback.
Well,
Yes, RIP. That's some sad news that's coming out here.
We'll save that for the SEC preview. Next, we have Michigan.
Woo!
So,
Aiden, you got to edit that out.
Michigan's head coach, Jim Harbaugh. Is that how you say it? Harbaugh? Harbaugh. And he will not play a couple of games start off the season. We've already went through that. And
actually, he may.
Maybe, but a couple of key players is that they lost is Mozzie Smith, Mike Morris, and DJ Turner. And Penn State, they're head coached by Jim Franklin. They lost Joey Porter Jr., they lost Parker Washington, and they lost Brenton Strange. And yes, and I only go over the top four. So next we have Purdue head coach Ryan Walters. This is his first season taking over for Jeff Brom, who now is at Louisville. And Jeff Brom has he has a history with Louisville, but now Ryan Walters will take over for Purdue. They've lost Charlie Jones, Aiden O'Connell, Payne Durham, Corey Trice, and Jalen Graham. So that is it for the little key things. Now for the last thing of the Big Ten Conference is awards. Or not awards, but like little predictions here. So I think the Big Ten Player of the Year will be Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think
I agree with that.
Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year will be Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State, guys, if you didn't know. And then the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, I have Cherzon Newton, defensive lineman out of Illinois. And then Big Ten Coach of the Year, I have Luke Fickell from Wisconsin. And I have Big Ten Game of the Year, Ohio State at Michigan. So, yep. So here's my predictions for the conferences. I got for the East, I'll go over down there fast. I got Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland, Michigan State, Rutgers, Indiana. For the West, I got Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, Purdue, and Northwestern. Excuse me. And that's going to be it for my Big Ten preview. And we're going to go on to the Big 12. So the Big 12, they include the teams of Kansas State, TCU, Texas, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Oklahoma, Kansas, West Virginia, and Iowa State. So we'll go over for the previews here. TCU is head coached by Sonny Dykes. And Benjamin, last year, he loved TCU. And a few players that that left for the draft was Quentin Johnson, Steve Avella, Condre Miller, Dylan Horton, Darius Davis, and Tre'Vius Hodges Tomlinson, D. Winters, and Max Duggan. So that's for TCU. Kansas State is going to be head coach this year by Chris Kleeman, and they've lost a couple players too. We won't go through in there to go faster. Texas, head coached by Steve Sarkisian. Sorry if I say that wrong. Texas Tech. Texas Tech, Joey McGuire will be the head coach. And now we're going to go on to the Big 12 predictions, just like I did with the Big 10 here. And so for the Big 12 player of the year, I got Quinn Ewers, quarterback, Texas. And then hopefully you agree. Then the offensive player of the year, Quinn Ewers, once again. And then defensive player of the year, I got Jalen Ford, linebacker from Texas. Big 12 coach of the year, I got Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian. I don't know. And then the game of the year, Kansas State at Texas. So that's going to be it for my Big 12. Well, I got one more hot take for it. TCU will not win the conference. They won't be as good as last season. It'll be Texas. So that's it. And then one last thing I have, an independent school is UConn. And I'm going to say something really quick because they're not in a conference. They'll need a full breakdown. The UConn Huskies are going to be head coached by Jim Elmora. So please tune into them. And last season, they went 6-7. They did good at home. They went 5-1. So they're really, really good at home. And yeah, please go watch some of their games if you can. And that is the Big 10, Big 12, and UConn preview.
All right. That was pretty good, Aiden.
All right, hold on really quick. Next up after this, we have ACC preview and Pac-12 preview. Both of those are with Alex.
Okay, so as you may know, I'm Alex, and I was not allowed to do SEC for obvious reasons with Tennessee, so I was stuck with ACC and Pac-12. But anyway, I'm going to give you the best knowledge ever. So let's just kind of go down in the order. I won't give it too long with spill. You can figure that out on your own. Now, ACC is one of the highly respected, I would say, the third best conference. Now, first of all, you have great teams, and you have some bad teams. Now, first, kind of a mid team is Boston College. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You never really know. I think this year they're gonna be on the good end, but I think they're gonna be right about 500. Now, Clemson Tigers have always been really good, and I see them winning this year, the ACC championship. And Duke Blue Devils, they are a basketball school. I think they're going to be playing great, really great this year. But I think they're going to end up probably about fourth in the conference. Now, Florida State is who I have probably about third in my list. They are a pretty good team. This may be their last year at ACC with their TV deals. So that's always fun. Florida State Seminoles are going to be a great team this year. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I think I have them ending second to last, actually, in the ACC. They're a great team. They just getting stuck with playing Georgia all year. They call it a rivalry. I call it a joke. Now, another one of my favorite teams in the ACC is the Louisville. People say Louisville. I just say Louisville, but I say Louisville. Louisville Cardinals. I think the Louisville Cardinals are good. They've always been pretty good, and they have a good record to show for it. And I have them probably about the lower end, probably about the fourth or fifth worst team. NC State is who I have going to be pretty bad, disappointing year. They've had some great seasons in the last couple of years, especially in baseball. But, when it comes to football, I think Clemson and Florida State and North Carolina rule the pack. And as far as, I would say, the next team, North Carolina Tar Heels, Drake May is an awesome person. He was going to go with the first pick next year in the draft, and I think he's awesome. Pittsburgh Panthers, They're a little bit off and on school, like I would say to Boston College. What they had Kenny Pickett, he was an awesome. Pittsburgh was awesome. I can see them reaching into the top 25 by the end of the year. And then Syracuse Orange, they just want to beat Tennessee by the Orange, and I do not like that. So already that's a negative connotation. But Syracuse, they were great, good broadcasting school, not really known for football. Now, coming up next is the worst team, in my opinion, ACC, is the Virginia Cavaliers. They don't know how to pick a poison against Tennessee, and they're going to lose and be embarrassed against Tennessee. Now next for Virginia Tech Hosers, the birth of my favorite Hendon Hooker. He played awesome at Virginia Tech. If it wasn't for Virginia Tech, we had no Hendon Hooker. So I love Virginia Tech. Now Wake Forest, Demon Deacons. They're going to be a great team. They're led by a completely new offense, and I think it's going to be great for the program. And I think that's going to see the effect in the ensuing years. Now, on for the Pac-12. This may be the last time we're talking about Pac-12, or this is the last time we're certainly talking about Pac-12 in this format. Now, let's start off alphabetical. Arizona Wildcats. I can see them ending in the very bottom of the list. They have a great edge rusher coming in next year. But this year, they're not going to be too good on the firepower. Defensive coordinator change. It's a little bit weird. Now, California Golden Bears. They're a great team. They're strong on the O-line. They can run quick. But I don't know how their passing game is, and that's going to be a very, very tall task. Now, Colorado Buffaloes. Now, this is probably the weirdest team other than Nebraska, just because we don't know. We don't know how this is going to be. Coach Sanders is a new coach, new digital sports media coach. We really don't know how he's going to lead the program. And, completely new offense. Jacksonville State, I would say, did pretty well. But Jacksonville State is a way lower school than Colorado Buffaloes. Or Furman, to be a matter of fact. So, you know what? Now move on to Oregon Ducks. Oregon Ducks is also one of the teams we'll see to go into Big Ten. Oregon Ducks, they play great. Ever since Justin Herbert, they've been kind of playing on the low end. But I have trust in Oregon Ducks this year. Now, Oregon State, the alma mater of my favorite, Mr. Wilson. He is the Beavers. It's going to be great for the program. And I personally see them as the number 4 team in the conference. Now, for my number 3 team, I have Stanford Cardinals. Stanford Cardinals, they're playing great. If I believe, only one person got drafted from Stanford, so they're going to be pretty good. And they did not lose too much talent on this from the seniors and from transfer portal. Now, UCLA Bruins. I have them as a number 2 team, just for the fact because their quarterback room. Because their quarterback was awesome last year. Benjamin, I know you liked him, and I know you said he was your underrated player, but he was a great player, awesome player, but he got drafted. Now, Caleb Williams of the USC Trojans, they're going to be undefeated this year. They're going to be great. They're going to be awesome, but no one's stopping them, and that's the Pacific 12 college football preview from Alex Lee.
All right. That was awesome right there. Let's move on here. So now we have the American Conference preview and then the SEC preview here on in the Pressbox. All right, let's get started.
1 second.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, make sure you are subscribing, watching our other videos as obviously, and just email us at tleads5588@gmail.com. Or it's even better if you just DM us on Instagram. You'll probably see that better. So, you know what? Just give us feedback in the comments or there. Subscribe.
Yep. All right. If you made it to this point, thank you. Thank you. Please like and subscribe here. So here we go. We're going to start off here with some of my teams that I was assigned for, the couple of the teams. So UMass, here's my summary of them. Not great at football, but has a special place in my heart. Same story this year. Won't be great. Army, average season and loses to Navy. So a failure of a season for Army there. Go Navy. Go midshipmen, baby. All right. Here we go. Teams to look out for. Now we move on to the American Conference. I'm just going to be really simple with the American Conference here because the SEC is going to take a long time. Teams to look out for and who I think are going to be on the better side of things this year in the American Conference. Memphis, Tulane, SMU, and East Carolina. And now a sneaky good team possibility is South Florida. Former Tennessee offensive coordinator is their new head coach. I see actually good things happening over there in South Florida and a major improvement from last year. I think they're going to have a pretty exciting offense.
Can I say something real quick? Sorry.
And I have Tulane winning the American. Yes, Alex.
I know you're talking about this. Have you been doing your research about South Florida and their head coach?
Yeah, actually, I did look about.
What's his name?
I do not remember.
Alex Golich.
Like 5 days ago. All right, buddy. It's my turn, though, to speak. Okay, now let's move on to the SEC here. Okay, SEC West. We're just going to go kind of in order. I didn't really rank where I thought that they were going to finish in the conferences. I just kind of ranked, what I think their record this year is and some of the key losses or key wins, some notes. So let's start off here. We're going to kick it off with Alabama, one of the most storied, organizations in all of college football here. So their record last year was an 11-2. I predict that this year they will go 11-2. Their key losses are LSU and one other one that's going to shock you guys. My notes for them is Alabama will find success with their quarterback, their new quarterback Milroe at QB, and the return of some stars. They come close to making the playoffs, but lose out. Okay, so I do say Alabama does not make the playoffs. And they're going to move on to Arkansas. Last year they went 7-6. This year I predict they're going to go 5-8. Arkansas and KJ Jefferson, their quarterback, look to bounce back after an average year. But I see them taking a small decline this year. I don't see, I don't see them being much better this year. Let's move on to Auburn. So Auburn last year, their record is 5-7. This year, I see a big improvement from Auburn. Actually, I see them going 9-3. Not an absolute best season, but I see a much better season. They have some pretty big wins. It's a year filled with ups and downs, program building for the future. But I do see an improvement. And here is my ultimate one: LSU. Last year they went 10-4. This year I see them going undefeated. They beat Florida State and they take down Alabama in Alabama. I say that there's a magical year for LSU with one of the deepest QB rooms in the country. Jaden Daniels breaks out this year and has a Heisman caliber season. I see amazing things happening for LSU, the Tigers. Now we move on to Ole Miss, 8-5 last year. This year I see 9-3. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss make small improvements from last year, but it's nothing special. I mean, I'm just not really bought into Ole Miss. Not a big Lane Kiffin guy like you guys. Mississippi State, last year 9-4, this year 6-6. A small regress for Mississippi State. Not a lot really to say with them. R.I.P. Coach Leach, but not a lot after that. Texas A&M, last year 5-7. This year, my ultimate hot take, 5-7 again. And Jimbo Fisher is fired halfway through the season. So one of my big hot takes is Texas A&M has a disastrous year. Jimbo Fisher loses his job. What do you guys think about that? Do you think I'm crazy for that?
No, I believe that. And I can see him going to, he's a bigger name coach, whether people want to admit it or not. He's obviously not your Nick Saban, but I can see him going to a lower program, like a kind of random school, maybe kind of like Coach Sanders did, and just make that an absolute program or powerhouse. That's what I think.
That's a good take. Aiden, do you
like
think
Tulane or something?
Yeah, I could see that. All right, let's move on to the SEC East here.
Okay? I agree with Alex.
Yeah. We're going to start off here with Missouri. Last year, 6-7. This year, they go 4-9. overall, they're just a bunch of mid. I mean, honestly, that's just really not much here that I'm excited about. But they did land a 5-star recruit for 2024 today. So big W for
That is
Missouri
ridiculous.
Tigers.
They pay the players NIL money because Missouri passed a new stupid rule where they're allowed to get paid illegally from NIL just if they are in the state of Missouri, which is completely illegal in NIL rules. And I don't know why they don't look at that in the rule book because it's completely illegal.
So there's what Alex has to say.
Completely illegal. You're not allowed to do that. That's NIL dishonesty.
Okay, next we move on to Florida.
Stupid.
Okay, next we move on to Florida. Last year they went 6-7. This year another improvement. The Gators go 9-3. Some definite improvement is seen this year for the Gators as they take down some top teams. We're going to get into who those teams are in a little bit. Georgia, last year they're 12-0. This year they're 11-1, okay? And they have some massive loss. And it's none other than the Tennessee Volunteers. I really believe that Tennessee will take down Georgia at home and hand them their only loss and could be a pivotal blow to their hopes. So overall, it's a great year. Brock Bowers looks like a great threat, but they do lose to Tennessee in that game, and that's going to make things interesting. Let's move on to Kentucky. Last year they're 7-6. This year they're 5-7. Just so boring in mid without Will Levis and some of their stars. There's not much else to say. Sorry. South Carolina, 8-5 last year. Yeah, this year is an improvement. They go 10-2. They lose against Georgia. They lose against Clemson. But overall, it's a pretty good year.
They beat Tennessee?
Spencer, dude, just let me finish my thing. Yes, they actually go in and beat Tennessee. In Neyland, Spencer Rattler goes off this year, and it's a massive improvement for South Carolina. Let's move on to Tennessee now, okay? Please, nobody interrupt me before I say anything, okay? Do not interrupt me. Well, I will get your thoughts after. Tennessee, last year, they went 11-2. This year, they go 10-2. It's not good enough for Tennessee. They beat Georgia, but lose to South Carolina, and this one's really going to tick you off. I talked about those big wins earlier for the Florida Gators, and they take down Tennessee in the swamp. That's a hot take right there. Florida beats Tennessee in the swamp. Not good enough from Tennessee this year. Still a good year, but not good enough. Joe Milton has a great year, but they cannot climb past South Carolina and Florida. Let's move on to Vandy now. Last year they were 5-7. This year they're 6-6. Bunch of mid as usual. Some improvement is made as a renovated stadium comes to the West End next year. That's all I gotta say. Really quick, conference championship. I have Georgia against LSU. LSU wins the conference championship. Player of the conference, Jalen Daniels. Honorable mentions for player of the conference, Spencer Rattler, Brock Bowers, and the one and only Joe the Rocket Arm Milton as my honorable mentions.
Can I say something real quick?
So I know Alex is chomping at the bit.
No, you're just saying that because of Florida.
Say, what do you think about my predictions? Keep it, mellow tone. We know we don't need to be yelling.
Okay, stop talking. Okay, now Georgia. I don't know how Georgia's going to be in the SEC championship if we beat them. Second of all, this is really stupid because how am I going to lose to a Gamecock? It says what they are in the second part of the name, and I ain't saying that on the podcast. We know they all, without the game. That's what they are, and that's what they suck. Now, Gators. Now, how am I going to lose that Gator? It's right there in the swamp. They're in water. They hope to drown. And you know what's water? Pee. We pee on Florida fans. We pee on alligators. We pee while they stand there and cheering.
Jalen Copeland, 80-yard bomb.
We pee on them. And 80-yard bomb, the only bombs they're throwing is Tim Tebow and jail. That's what they're throwing. They're throwing F-bombs. Well, Joe Milton is throwing 95 plus yards.
Great. Okay, let's move on. I know it's controversial, but we got to move on really quick. I just wanted to say who I think is going to win each conference. I don't know if y'all are going to say yours, but I'll just quickly go through my little list here. Big 10, that's Aiden's conference. I see Michigan. Big 12, I got Oklahoma winning that. ACC, I have Clemson winning that. Pac-12, I have USC. American Conference, I have Tulane. And the SEC, I have LSU. Do you guys have any predictions, or should we just move on?
I had everything you said besides LSU. I had Tennessee.
Okay. Aiden, what did you have? Did you have the same things?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's move on here. Let's start off with the ultimate question. Well, not the ultimate question, but one of the bigger questions. Who will win the Heisman this year? Who do you guys have winning the Heisman? Let's start off with Alex. I think we know. Alex, who do you have
For what?
winning the Heisman?
Oh, I have not whom you may expect, Drake May.
What? Oh, I thought you were going to say Joe Milton. Okay, Aiden, who do you have?
I have. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, I have Caleb Williams, number 1 candidate. Number 2, Drake May. Number 3, Joe Milton. But I think Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman again.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess all three of us have different things. I have actually Jaden Daniels. I'm not even kidding you. I think LSU is just going to have an insane year with him and, everything. But I like the Drake May pick. I like Caleb. And honestly, Joe Milton's that wild card. You never know. He could be like Josh Allen. I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe won. It'd be a little bit, but I got Jaden Daniels, I think. All right. Here we go. Who wants to go first here? We have the final question, the final segment here of the podcast tonight. Who will win who is in the college football playoff and who will win the championship? And then also let's talk about the teams that just miss out. Aiden, you go first.
Can I go first?
Oh yeah, sure, Alex, you can go first.
Okay, so here's my up there / honorable mentions. I have USC, Alabama, and Notre Dame.
That's a great one.
Now, number 4, I have Georgia. 3, North Carolina. 2, Ohio State. And 1, Tennessee.
Aiden, what do you? That's a great list. Aiden, who do you have?
I have number 4, Michigan. Number 3, I have Texas. Number 2, I have Georgia. Number 1, I have Tennessee.
Hey, 1 second. Tennessee and Georgia can't be 1 and 2 because one of them's going to have to lose.
For real?
Yeah, unless it's both teams lose.
Don't say your winner, though. Don't say your winner. Don't say your winner. Well, I'll say that at the end.
So I can put number 2 as LSU.
Yeah. We would play them in the SEC championship.
Alex is heartbroken. Aiden with the dagger through the heart. Oh my goodness, Aiden. Are you sure, buddy, you want to do this?
Yes.
Wow.
He said Tennessee's number 1. He said Tennessee's number 1.
I love this. But LSU that far up is impressive.
Screw them.
Okay. Okay. All right. It's my turn. Here we go. Okay. Teams that just miss out. I have Alabama is the 5th spot. USC, South Carolina, and Nebraska. Again, don't come at me for it. Nebraska makes the Big Ten championship. They're like top 10 or something. I don't know. Here's my top 4 though. Here's what really matters. Okay. Number 4, starting off with number 4, Penn State Nittany Lions. Okay, I see them being a top 4 team this year. Number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm sorry, it pains me. I'm trying to be realistic here on the podcast. If I could, I would say that they miss, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Number 2, I have Michigan, And number 1, the LSU Tigers. I mean, I just see an insane year for them. But yeah, that's my overall.
Riding the Tigers.
I'm just saying.
Every single thing. Heisman, Jaden Daniels, the best team in SEC, LSU, the best
like
team
Joe
ever.
Burrow 2.0.
LSU.
It's like Joe Burrow 2.0. I'm just saying. I also see Tennessee just missing out too. Just so you guys know that they they're still pretty high for me. Okay, who's your winner? Who wants to go and say who their winner is
Me.
for the whole thing? All right, Aiden, who do you have winning?
I have
Drum roll.
the Tennessee Volunteers.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Aiden has Tennessee. I can actually still see that happening. Alex, who do you have?
Alex,
Drum roll.
Alex, who do you have?
For what?
The one in the whole thing.
Tennessee Vols.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so Tennessee Vols for both of them. And my winner, who will win the national championship of 2023-2024 season in college football, is Michigan.
So I gotta be the most random answer.
Ba, 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 ba. Okay, all right, you guys. Thank you for watching this episode. Let us know if you want us to do stuff like this again, or like for the NFL or something like that. Maybe we can give it a go. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys. Controversial a little bit, but I mean, that's how we roll on in the press box. Any final thoughts, you guys?
Thank you for tuning in, and we're looking forward to good predictions because we forgot to mention the prediction winner, Benjamin.
Dang it! I was hoping that we didn't have to mention
won. Yeah, he won. Let's not talk about it too much.
Yeah, Aiden won.
Comments or concerns, please email us at tleast5588@gmail.com or just DM us on Instagram.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Yeah, tleast588@gmail.com. DM us, follow, like, sub. If you're at this point and you're not subscribed, I mean, what are we doing here, you guys? Gotta subscribe if you're at this point. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you guys.
All right, see you guys. Thank you.
Go Vols.
And happy